Welcome back to the Division 2. I told you guys I would be back with another video facing a wall, and that's what we're going to do for this one. I just want to talk to you about a couple of problems I'm seeing ever since Title Update 10 released, and how they are completely knocking my motivation to do certain things within the game. And not just that, I would like to point out about the PTS, and there is no point in doing a public test server if you're only going to release it for one platform, when there are several platforms that all have their own bugs, and you can't just make the game for the PC and then port it over to Xbox or PS4 and it have exactly the same build. And not only that, with the PTS, I'm not saying everyone does this, but I can imagine a lot of players, because years ago I would have done the same thing myself, but I can imagine like at least some players will go onto the PTS and they use it as a way to get early access to the new stuff coming into the game. So they'll test out all the exotics, they'll have a look, they'll do some missions and stuff, and then when it comes to the PTS being over, or when they stop playing, they won't leave any feedback for the devs. There's one thing that's been a problem ever since Title Update 10, and there's no explanation as to why that's the case. I don't believe for a second that this was tested on the PTS. I don't know why, but I just don't feel it was tested, and that is the leaderboards. Some of you will already know that recently I started trying to do speedruns, and ever since Title Update 10 come out, the builds have changed, like weapons have had nerfs and buffs and stuff. They've done loads of balancing, but I've lost a lot of motivation to do speedruns because I was going to mix it up and do some solo, and then I was going to do some with Con and Pete, just so there was a mixture of me playing by myself, and then there would be some of me playing with the lads and having a laugh and stuff. And not just that, there would be someone to talk to whilst I'm playing the game, so the content would be more entertaining. But if we go and have a look at the leaderboards, I've heard across all platforms there are problems with these leaderboards. But we go into American History Museum, we look at the mission time for challenging difficulty American History Museum for solo. When I load this up, look how much my game starts to lag. You can see the movement on my character and how jolty it is. It's so frustrating trying to navigate through these leaderboards. And if you've played pre-TU10 and now, you will know that these leaderboards have been changed, the way they look. It was basically a UI update. And I believe the way they've done it is so that it's looking a lot fresher for the new raid, for when people were checking out them leaderboards. But it's kind of backfired because they don't run properly. But what makes that even worse when it comes to doing it with other players is if you go to American History Museum, and Heroic, you can't do it, there is no leaderboard for that difficulty. But Challenging, you go to Group, there is no leaderboard. Me, Pete and Con run American History Museum on Challenging difficulty the other day, and we were trying to set a fast time. We only run it once, but we wanted to check the activity summary and then see where we were in the leaderboards, and you can't see them for group play. So I've lost a lot of motivation to do speedruns because I want a smooth experience when I'm checking where I am in the world. Because look at this, like if I go back in to the solo ones, look what happens when I'm going to press X, so it jumps to my position. I've been knocked down from 29th. But look at how laggy that is. I'm 32nd now, but it's so laggy that it's off-putting. I don't want to be running a mission to have to put up with that every time I check the leaderboards. Because doing a speedrun, you have to check them often. You need to see if you've been knocked down, because I would like to keep on top of my positioning for some of the missions. Probably just like Grand Washington Hotel, American History Museum, DCD headquarters, because I know their missions are fast. I've always enjoyed playing them missions. I've completed them hundreds and hundreds of times now. But it's just off-putting. And another thing that's really, really irritating, and they've spoken about it on State of the Game, but they have said that it's not going to be spoken about again for the coming weeks, and when they release Title Update 10.1, they might fix it. There's no guarantee. But that is the fact that you can't change your loadout when one of your skills is on cooldown. As a DPS player, I like to personally run the Fixer Drone so that I get some armor back, and I also run the Revive Hive. But if you have a look, the refill speed is 218.2 seconds, and there are 4 charges. So if I've just gone down, I come back up and I think, okay, right, DPS isn't working out in this certain area of a mission, I'm going to switch up to my skill build. I don't only have to wait 3 minutes 38.2 seconds for one charge, I have to wait for all 4 charges to come back. I think I did a calculation from where I was at the current time. It was 13 minutes 20 I would have to wait until I was able to change my loadout. That is not acceptable. It was working fine before Title Update 10, and now it's completely broken. That would be fine if they would do a hotfix. It wouldn't be hard to jump into the game's files and the coding and stuff and go, right, for the time being until we found the fix, we're going to disable it. So whilst your skills are on cooldown, you can change your loadouts. Like, disabling that feature wouldn't be a problem. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be a hard change. But they've just said we'll talk about it in the coming weeks. So whilst I'm doing Legendary, having to switch loadouts and stuff for different areas, I can't change my loadouts. And it's putting me off playing Legendary content. And not only that, like the matchmaking, that's for a completely different video if I ever talk about it, but certain times of the day it just takes forever to find players, and I've been trying to complete a legendary mission with a match-made team just to, like, I know it can already be done, but I want to experience it for myself, and hopefully I can get the big horn and drop it for someone else because I already have it. So I'd be an extra number to help players out, as well as completing the hardest content in the game for myself even more times. But it's frustrating because there are so many bugs and they're very off-putting. Like, I was really starting to enjoy the speedruns, but I just can't with the way the leaderboards are working. I would love to be able to do some with Con and Pete so that we are pushing ourselves up the leaderboard. It would make entertaining content because there would be mistakes and we would be screaming and shouting at each other because you have to be aggressive and rush around everywhere. It would be a laugh, but I can't do it because for group play, the leaderboards just don't load at all. And there's been no talk of it as far as I'm aware. But on that note, I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. And I also want to know if there are any bugs that I might not have experienced. I've also heard that Roosevelt Island, there is a kind of like a progression blocker or something that messes up the mission. So someone told me to stay well clear of it. Oh no, Tidal Basin, sorry, not Roosevelt Island, Tidal Basin. But let me know in the comments which bugs you have faced since Title Update 10 dropped and which ones are affecting your gameplay experience the most. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.